Hello friends, this is Ganesh and video number 12. This is a continuation of the previous video, could be a little longer compared to the video 11 and 12. I'm sorry for that. This video is going to be about the continuation of the table creation, but the way we are going to create the table field is quite different. The previous one is predefined or built-in type. We created 3 or 4 fields. It's related to the employee information. And today I'm going to continue the same table modifications with the help of data element type. I already mentioned the built-in type, predefined type, or the data element is or belongs to the field, not belongs to the table. So a table can have few fields might created with predefined or built-in type, and other few fields might be created with the data element type. Okay, so there is no restriction, but 99% we are creating a table with data element type because we have a lot of additional options are available in data element compared to built-in type. Okay, let me walk through what are the options available in data element and a domain, we call it as, and we'll take you to the system and show you how to create a field with the data element type. So here I have a BAP dictionary, like you know about the transactions and everything. So I see 11, and I'm going to use the data element now. The predefined built-in, everything is done in the previous video. And in data element type, we have two approaches. One is top-down approach, another is bottom-up approach. Just an approach, okay? You can go ahead whichever is comfortable for you. And the first step, you have to create a field inside the table, and you have to create a data element, and you have to create a domain. So if you follow these three way, it's called top-down approach. And if you follow the reverse order, create the domain first, create the data element, and then create a field inside a table is nothing but bottom-up approach. So data element and domain is an independent object. Okay, again it's a custom object. It has to use ZRY, and one easiest way is whenever you need or whenever you have to create any standard or sorry any custom object, just refer is there any standard object is already available or similar to whatever you're looking for. If it is available, please make use of it. For example, I want to use a data element which reflects the material number, which refers to a purchase order number. So those are already available. Purchase order number, material data elements are already available. Just make use of it. Okay. So we'll see little detail on it. So this is the two approaches, and we'll see about data element first. So top-down approach. So I'm going to create a field inside the table, and I'm going to create a data element. So what is data element? Data element is an another object, and it can be a standard or it can be a custom. It defines the data, whether you're going to create elementary or just you're going to create just a reference to the field. It's going to create what type of data, what type actually, not data, what type you're going to create. So that is nothing but a data element as elementary type or a reference type. And additionally, you have an option called field label. So field label is nothing but whenever this data element is used in a screen designing. So in the screen designing part, if they use a data element, there is an option called field label, and there are four options. You want a short label or medium or long or heading. So you can give a name, exact name for this data element. Suppose you are creating a data element for a date of birth, so you can say short as DOB, or I can say date of birth or DO birth. Okay, so employee date of birth, whatever name is relevant, you can give in the field label. You can maintain in the field label option, and whenever maybe you or the further in future some other developer is creating a screen, it's referred to your data element, then they will get an option what type of field label you want for this particular field, so they can choose it. That is an advantage of field label in the data element. Another one is search help. I already mentioned in previous programs, if you refer a data element, you will get all the properties of the data element. In a program, if you declare parameter MAP underscore MATNR, type MATNR. MATNR is a data element. So data element has fields, field labels, search helps, and everything. So that also by default you're able to use it. So that's why data element is more useful compared to the built-in type. And another one is parameter ID. It's memory kind of. It's like a parameter ID is it holds the value for some time. Okay, so you might aware of it. Like we have an option called set parameter, get parameter, right? So this parameter ID holds the value for a particular field. Again, data element is going to be used in any of the screen fields, right? So I'm talking about the screen fields. So whatever value they entered is going to be hold the particular value, and that can be transferred between the transactions. Simple example is SE11 and SE16. Open SE11 and enter the value of Mara, your table name is Mara, and open SE16 parallelly. Automatically, the Mara is populated in SE16. This is a relevant transaction, right? So to achieve this, we are going to make use of the parameter ID. So every data element, there is an option to use parameter ID. So these are advantages if you use the data element instead of built-in type method. So that's why I'm saying almost 99% of the tables are used data element instead of built-in type. And then domain. Domain is nothing but technical aspects of the field. You know about this terminology. Technical aspects is nothing but data element and what is the type and what is the decimal places. So combination of these three is nothing but technical aspects of a field is nothing but domain. And along with that, we have some more options available in domain properties. Value range. You can do a validation. You can set some validation in your domain level. For example, you're creating a field or a domain. It's like yes no option. Okay, it may be a generic requirement in a project. So many places we are going to use kind of a flag, yes, no, deleted, yes, no, or it's released, yes, no, whatever it is, right? So what you can do is you can give a value range, meaning wherever the domain is used, those fields are applicable only for these values. So those values you're able to maintain in the domain level called value range. It's like a random values you can maintain. Suppose they have to select only 5 countries. Wherever they're using the country name as one of the field and create, and business says okay only 5 countries the user has to pick from the screens. So mostly these are relevant for the screen level. Okay, so we can maintain 5 value ranges. So wherever this is used, automatically the validation will take place. Because you don't want to write a validation in every program. Suppose the same domain field is used in 5 different programs. So all the places this value range will take care. And the good part is value range you can able to maintain as a range, or you can maintain as a random values. Sometimes you can maintain as a table name also. That will take care of it. Okay, and output characteristics. Simple example for output characteristics is a date. You mentioned date is datum, right? Standard data element. Excuse me. But in the output, if you open SE16, it accepts the special characters, meaning it has an option of getting 10 characters, date along with the special character. Same for time is actually 6, but in output characteristics for time data element is 8. Okay, so you can mention what these kind of additional informations in your domain as well. So what is the output characteristics? I mentioned 10, but sometimes I'm giving as a 12 with valid scenarios. Conversion routines. Its example for conversion routine is any document number, production order or service order or purchase order, whatever it is, we have leading zeros. Some scenarios or some places we need leading zeros for getting information from the database table, or sometimes we don't want it. User doesn't want leading zeros in the display level, ALV output or in the output screen. Business doesn't want all the leading zeros and then service order number. It's not good. So those kind of conversion routines have to maintain in the domain properties. Okay, and sign. It's very rarely we use this sign. Some values are in a negative, and I want to be the particular data element or domain or particular field is going to be accept the sign like a negative or positive kind of. So that option available in domain properties. And case sensitive option, by default what all the values are stored in the capital, and if you want to make us whatever you're expecting from the screen level, user level, I want to maintain the same, so I have an option called case sensitive option. So these are available in domain properties. Okay, so now I'm going to explain the same in the system. I'm going to create in the top down approach maybe 1 or 2 fields, and bottom up approach other 2 fields. Okay, anything else? Okay, this is about one of the reusable concept of data element. Built-in type means every time you have to create maybe same set of technical aspects. For example, name one, name two, first name, last name, or you can use the postbox name, street name. So everything almost similar to same technical aspects. So character 30 or character 40. And for that, if it is a built-in type, you have to create everything for all the fields. You have to create one by one again and again. But domain data element is it's an independent object. So once you saved and activated it, anybody in the from SAP can able to access your data element. So that is the picture is over here. Maybe one data element can refer in first table, second field, and second table, second field, and another table, third field. They use the same data element, and same data element can use the same domain as well. Another scenario, I need a different data element for a domain. It may be some business scenario. Value range might differ for data element 1 and data element 2, or the names are a little different. So it depends on the scenarios, you can do it. So here it's explaining us any way you can able to do it. Multiple data element refer to one domain, or multiple fields refer to same data element, or multiple data elements. Okay, just play around it and refer the standard how they design the data element and domain as well. Okay. And finally, reference fields is especially for currency and quantity. We are in SAP, so SAP is just work for multiple modules, multiple countries and regions, right? So if you go with the quantity, there may be a lot of unit of measure. So you're saying 12 is a quantity. What is 12? Either it's a each, or it's a 12 centimeter, or 12 inches, or 12 lbs, 12 kilograms, whatever it is, right? So whenever you create a quantity field, you have to give a reference of it. Okay, so we can take a reference from the standard table, because most of the standard tables we have a unit of measure, so you can take that one. Same for currency also. So what is currency? Currency reference field is nothing but whether it's a USD or it's a euro, INR, whatever it is, right? So currency, if you create any currency field, automatically you have to give a reference field of your currency field as well. Okay, there's a different tab. I will show you. These are mandatory one. Reference field are mandatory, and especially this is applicable only for currency and quantity. If you don't have currency and quantity in your table, you don't worry about the reference fields. Okay, I think we are good. I'll show you in the system then. This is my table which I used in the last video. I'm going to use the same for this as well. And I'm sorry, I'm in AC16. Okay, I will go to AC11. Yeah, this is my table. Let me go to change. This table is already created, and I have created with 4 fields: MA entity, client number, ID, and some values, decimal, days, and everything. Now I'm going to add a field in a data element method. So I can say employee, oh, there's no name. Okay, I'll say name 1. Okay, name 1, name 2, or first name, last name, whatever it is. And step 1, field creation, top down approach. And step 2, create a data element. So here you're able to see the data element column. I'm going to create a data element, start with Z. And field name is not start with Z or Y. It can be any letter, but data element, because it's not an object, but data element is an object, so you have to create with Z or Y. So I can say Z, some generic name, and you have to follow some naming convention, depends on your customer, the place where you work. So I can say, can name Z name. Just enter, and oh, okay, it's already created by someone. That's what I thought. Okay, Z name is actually created by someone. If it is already available, automatically this particular fields will fill automatically. Okay, so let me go with first name, last name. I'll follow this DE data element underscore name. Press enter. Now it's 0. So empty is on 0. So this name is not used so far. We can use it. Save it, because it will take you to the different screen. So you have to save it. Control S and double click. So double click is a very useful in SAP, and it will ask. So this data element is not available. If it is available, the rest of the fields filled, And if you double click, it will take you to the data element screen. If not, you will get this pop-up. We are in top-down approach. Data element is does not exist. Do you want to create it? Yes. And give a name for it. Just a name. Okay. So no, I just press enter. Let's just ignore this one. Okay. And I have to create the next is domain. Okay, so field created and data element is also almost created, not activated. And the last final step is domain creation. I'm going to create a domain. So you can have a same name for data element and domain as well, or a different name. It depends on your requirement or how the naming conventions are followed. Okay, so just press enter. It says no active domain available. Yeah, we know what, because we need to create it. So save it and double click. So I'm just, let me save it in the local object, maintain field label. Okay, I thought, okay, let's create a domain first. So here, this is a data type, and the additional properties of the data types are, go to the further characteristics. Here you have an option, search help. Okay, and you can use a search help, or you can give the parameter ID. Okay, and if you want to change document, you can enable this flag. These are not required, so whoever is changes, it will going to figure out those list of changes information. And this is mostly use search help and parameter ID. Okay, so another one is field label. So this is for screen, I mentioned, right? So what is the short you want? For example, 10. I just go with name, and maybe I can give an option, and whoever wants to use it, I think it should be 12. They can make use of this. First name, and it can be so emp first name. So mostly with generic, or if it is very specific, you can give a specific field label as well. Save it and go to data type. So here also you have further more option. You can create a data element, and you can create a data element along with the built-in type instead of domain. So that also possible. Manually you can give what is a character. You might feel, I don't want a domain for my requirement. I'm not going to give value range. I'm not going to give any sign or lowercase. In that is the case, we can avoid creating some custom objects. The best practice is normally don't create or try to avoid creating any custom objects in SAP unnecessarily. So if it is normally available, then you have to use it, make use of it, already available. So no standards and no custom objects are available, then you just create it. Okay, this is for easy maintenance. So I will show you this as well. Let's go to the data element and domain. So I maintain the properties of data element. Let me go with domain ZD1 name. Okay, save it and double click. Same like data element, it just says domain not active. You want to create it. Yes, I want to create. Just give name, enter, and data type. So press F4 for further input values. I'm go with character, and I want 30. So no decimal places. Enter it. Okay, output length, if you feel you have to increase, you can just increase from 30 to 32 or 35, depends on your scenario. And here it is routines. I'm not going to use any routines over here. And the sign is disabled because this is a character data type, so it's not applicable. And case sensitive, if you want, you can enable the case sensitive. Whatever they enter in the screen level is going to save in your database table as it is. Save it and the local object. Make sure your objects are activated, because data element is a different object and their domain is an independent object. So every object to be activated before using it somewhere. So just activate, enter, and go back. So I started with what you call fields, data element, and domain. So if I press F3, it will take you to data element. So we'll see value range in a different field. So click back, and it just came to the data element, and that is also new. It's not active. Now you can see the data element, data type, and length, because this domain got created. Activate it and go back. So now you're able to see this properties of your data element. So I can make use of the same name to same data element or other fields. Not only this, the same table you can use it in anywhere because it's an independent object. It's a global object. Once it is activated, you can use it in a program or a screens or in any other table. Okay. So this is one of the reusability of using data element type. Activate my entire table. Finally, and we'll see the next one as employee region. I'm going to give create a new one region. So this data element is not available. Using the same approach, top down, field first, data element second, region, go to field label. So it's 10 region. 10 is enough for the region. Save it, local object, and go to data type, create Z domain region. It says this domain is not available. Yes, just double click to create it. Yes, create domain. Yes, region and character 20. Okay, so now I'm going to maintain the value range. So go to value range is the domain level. So you can give the single value or you can give the um, ranges or you can give the value table level. Just give the table name, that will take care of it. Okay, suppose I'm saying giving it's northwest or otherwise I can say region 1 which covers northwest and region 2 southeast. Okay, so only these two regions. So just an example. And save it and go to definition, just act toward it. So wherever tab you are, it's fine, just act toward it. Make sure you active before go back to the previous object. Data element is also active. Go back, it's available over here. Okay, I'll tell you where this validation will happen for the value range. And the next one is what we can say. So email. Okay, before going to that, I'll show you the existing standard data element and domain. So go to SE11. If you have an idea about data element and domain, then play around with the standard one. Just see how they designed it. So for the material number, they have a data element called METNR. This over the entire table 307 fields over here they created with the data element method only, so not with built-in type. So just double click METNR, it will just take you to the data element page, and here they maintain the further characteristics. They used s underscore mat1 as a search shell, and they have parameters matner and parameter id is MET. Okay, and change documents, they selected it and go to the field label. Mostly in standards they maintain the same field label in most of the like short, medium and long, most of the options. So here it's material, and go back and double click METNR, and this is a domain. Again, the most standard data element domain maintains the same name for the easy reference. Okay, and character 4040, and here you have output in the same. They have a main routine. They maintain the conversion routines. Just double click, it will show you what list of conversion routines for this field. Okay, mostly we use this input and output. These are function modules. Might once we complete the function module, I'll just come and explain how to use the conversion routines over here. Okay, uh, simple one, just double click. Suppose I want to know what is the output. So this is the conversion routine, input conversion routine. So input is nothing but it's going to add some leading zeros based on the input. So I'm saying my thing is 100, my material number is 100, press F8. So it gives adding leading zero. Input is just inputting the zeros for the material number. It's like material number total is 18 characters. So out of 18, so it's occupied, so 3 is occupied, so 15 fields remaining spaces are occupied with zeros. So that is input conversion routines. And you can use output conversion routines also. Output is remove the leading zeros. So double click and execute F8. Suppose I have 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 example, and press F8. So it just remove the leading zeros and give this output. Okay. This is very basic. We use conversion routines. Probably you might aware of it, or you just come to know in any business scenarios, depends on the output. Okay, so just play around with this, and one more thing, you don't find anything for value range for material, because material is it's keep on creating. So here you have the option called table level, not in the single values or interlevel any ranges, only the table level they mentioned. So whenever you used any of the material which is not in this table, you'll get an automatically get an error. Okay. So this is the way they designed the standard tables. So next is, excuse me, employee sales average. So sales target. So I'm going to have one more. So here also you can able to use some other the existing one. Okay, so existing data element, standard data element, sorry, standard domain or a custom domain as well. For example, let me go to SE11 EKKO F7. So here it is. I'm going to use this standard data element quantity field. I'm going to use it. So for the target, just double click. I make use of this domain. Okay, MENG13. Just copy this and go to your table. Just enter it. Right. So quantity field and the field label also you can just maintain. It's not required to maintain all the things. So just save. Just go to data type and try to activate it. Okay, so it depends, but it's going to be used in the future whenever they design this table for a input screen. So best practices, we maintain everything, but just for your information. Okay, let's activate it. Just go back. Okay, now try to check and activate it. So you'll get an error. Employee target specifies a reference table and reference field, because I mentioned the quantity field, right? So quantity, what is quantity? So target, right? So you have to mention, means that should be referred, actually reference means that should be referred, whether it's a weight or each or it's kind of a quantity, what kind of quantity it is, right? So for that, go to input, help and check, and I'm sorry, go to currency and quantity fields, and here it's automatically enabled which field is actually needed. Okay, so if you're aware, if you're not aware of it, it's a new to you, very simple. You can go to the EKKO or any standard or custom table which already have a quantity. So let me go here. So I picked this particular field, right? And go to currency and quantity fields. They already mentioned it. So EKPO MEIN. So you can maintain the same as well. EKPO MEINS. Save it. Now check it. So you won't get any error. No inconsistency found. Okay. So this is the way you have to use the reference field for your table fields. Clear? Okay, so this is top-down approach. Bottom-up approaches is nothing but create a domain first, data elements second, and fields. So how to do that? Go back, means initial screen of your SE11, and here you have an option, create the domain first. So mostly this is useful for any product or any big project you're creating. So you can decide that you need some custom tables, some domains are required, and tables are not yet ready. You can create a domain separately. So only for that kind of scenarios, this bottom-up approach is useful. So I'm going to create a domain for email. Just give a name, start with ZRY, and click create. Email address. So I can say it's character 50, 100, just enter it. Save it, activate it. So domain is ready, and go back. It will take you, if you click back, it will take you to SE11 initial screen because where we started it, and domain name. I can say domain email, okay, and click create. You're not able to find data element separate option over here. It's coming under data type. Click create. You'll get an option over here, data element or structure or table type. So I want to create a data element. So click next. Email address, and okay, no domain maintained. I'm going to give the domain which I created in the previous step. Okay, so go to field label, just 10 email. Save it and activate your data element. So now get into a table. The last step is create a field, and this is my domain name. Let me copy this. Click change, and here you can say emp email. That's it. So it's automatically it comes okay because it's created and activated as well. Once it is not active, you're not able to use it in any of your table. So hope this might be easy to understand the creation of tables. So I have explained how to create a table with predefined type and data element type, top down and bottom up approach, and explained about the TMG and the basic information about what is delivery class, data class, and buffering concept, and the reference field. Most of the stuffs I have entered, and how to enter the value for the table through SM30 with the maintenance options. Now I have added four more fields, so you have to regenerate your TMG also. You know how to regenerate your table management generator. So we have a lot more options now available in data dictionary. We'll see one by one in the following videos. Okay, thank you so much, and see you in the next video. Bye.